if you was to put a silhouette of a Subbuteo figure out on something and say, what sport is that? People will naturally say football. But to look at that, if you show that to someone, people will go, oh, that's football.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Total Sport and a first interview in a little while. We haven't done many of these recently, but we've got someone really, really special with us today. Someone who I saw on Twitter and I was like, wow, this is actually happening. But we've got Stuart with us, otherwise known as Subbuteo Collector on YouTube.
Hey.
How are you, mate? You good?
I'm good, mate. Very well. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm absolutely excellent. I'm really looking forward to talking to you because Subbuteo is something that, for my generation anyway, is pretty much an unknown, I would say. For a lot of people, it'd be like, what is this? What is this game?
But first, game.
Exactly. So for those of you, firstly, before we dive deep into your sort of story with it, what is Subbuteo?
So Subbuteo is, but you know what? I'm going to break it down really easier because you're young. So I'll break it. I imagine most of your viewers are young as well. So Subbuteo is the FIFA before there was computer games. So nowadays, everyone's obsessed with playing FIFA. Subbuteo is just that. It's a game where you flick around little players, you flick the players to hit the ball, and it replicates football. I don't even think I've got a ball here to show you. So I don't know if you'd be able to see me doing this. Where's my ball? So what you do is flick the ball, player to ball, and that's it. And you pass it around like a game of football. You don't use a control pad. You get two people around, and you play football. It's been around forever, longer than I've been around. I mean, it started in like 1947 with these little flat card bases, and then over the years you've ended up with a 3D players. Every kit, I think, up until the 90s has been made in it. And yeah, man, it's a proper game, a proper collectible game. You name it, you could buy everything in it: goals, trophies, teams. You have a good laugh while you're doing it as well. It's great.
Definitely. Well, and the reason why we've got you on, obviously, because everyone will watch YouTube nowadays. You got your own channel based around it. What motivated you to start that up?
Because there was no Subbuteo on YouTube. So I watch so much rubbish on YouTube. It's unreal. I'll sit there watching people unboxing wrestling figures. I'll watch people unbox phones. I'll watch people going through abandoned buildings and stuff like that. And I was sitting there, I was like, there's no, you could get Subbuteo up on YouTube. Yeah, you could search for it. There'd be tutorial videos or people playing competitive stuff because, yeah, people, sadly, in my opinion, play Subbuteo competitively. So there was videos of stuff like that and tutorials from years ago, but there was no one sort of doing Subbuteo on YouTube like what I like watching, like unboxings and vlogging and that sort of stuff. So I just sort of pondered for months thinking, oh, I'll do it, I won't do it, I'll do it, I won't do it. And then one day I thought, you know what, no, let's just do this. Let's get the phone out. We'll use my phone. I've got a cheap lapel mic, which I'm still using to this day. And I just thought, let's do it. And let's do it and see where it goes. There's nothing on there. And here I am now, 100 episodes in deep.
Definitely. I saw that. Yeah, I saw that yesterday, the 100 episodes. So definitely I am subscribed now after seeing it, which is amazing.
Thank you.
But we'll delve more deep into it now. So what was your first recollection of playing or coming across Subbuteo as a kid?
So for me, what I remember first was it was Christmas 1990. We just had Italia 90 in the summer, and there'll be people watching this that go, oh, he's mentioned Italia 90 already, because I always mention it. But we'd had Italia 90 in the summer. That's my first memory of football. So I remember that. And then Christmas, I got my Subbuteo set. There's a photo of me as well. I remember unboxing it, setting it up under the tree, and then playing it, just sort of knocking it around. I had one grandstand, one pitch. And yeah, Christmas Day, 1990, I remember it. And as I sort of grew up, not a lot from there, but I used to get it out every now and again, have a flick around. I was an only child, so I didn't really ever play it with anyone. So I'd sort of just get it out, flick it around, film these really bad stop motion videos with a proper film camera. So I remember watching Blue Peter and them showing you how to do it. And I was like, I could do that with Subbuteo. So I'd do these really bad goals, and then I'd pack it away, get it all out again. And then, yeah, that was sort of how I started with it. But then you grow up, don't you? You get a bit older, you think you're cool. The 90s happened, and then you sort of get rid of these things. And it took me a long while. I remember having a conversation with my flatmate a few years ago. Me and my mate had a flat together, and we was just drunkenly talking one night. And he was like, "Oh, when I grow up, I'm gonna have a train set in the loft." And I was like, "No, Mike, you need to have a Subbuteo stadium. Do it." So we've always sort of said, "Oh, one day we'll do these things in the loft." And then years went by, moved out with my missus, my now wife, and we had this huge loft, like huge. we lived above a church, it was a brand new church, and we lived above it. So this massive flat, and the loft was gigantic. I thought, I'm going to do it. I'm finally going to put this Subbuteo stadium in the loft. So I went down to Argos, bought a Subbuteo set, got the pitch, and then delved into eBay. And over the space of 3 years, slowly built up this stadium. Then got offered some teams from someone that I worked with. I was like, yeah, go on. And then from there on, it just got way too deep. And here I am now.
That's amazing. It's amazing how it sort of rolled on and on and on.
Oh, yeah, because it never meant to. It never ever meant to. It only meant to be to build. I mean, this is only part of it, but it only meant to be this stadium. I just wanted to build the stadium that we dreamed of as a kid. And then, yeah, it got out of control.
So what in terms of actually building it, is it sort of like, is it like, because I'm speaking from a complete novice point of view here. Is it kind of like Lego-ish?
No, it's not even like that. I mean, some of it's not even to scale. So when they first started bringing out these accessories, they did it, I think it was the sort of mid-60s, they brought out the Continental range, which you won't be able to see. It's the stuff up there. This is the more, I say more recent, 80s, 90s. All it is just stands, and you click the bit on this. It doesn't clip together or anything like that. You just put a stand on, and it stands there. And you get a fence, which you've got some bits of fencing over here, which the fencing it's just plastic. It's almost like the closest I could say it to. The fence is like that. You slide that on there, and then it stands up. The closest I could say it to, because nothing clips together. It's not a Lego build. It's probably like Hornby, like model train sets and that sort of thing. But none of it's really to scale. The players are to scale. The players are, I'm not going to say I'm not an expert on this, they're meant to be 0-0, which I don't know how big that is. But the stadiums are a different size. The balls are bigger. The corner flags are huge. None of it relates to a certain scale. But because of that, I mean, if you was a kid, you used to look at this poster when I was a kid of having this full stadium around the pitch. You'd never be able to afford it because it costs so much money. Then as you get older, you can do these things, but there really is nothing. I can't compare it to anything apart from model building, like Hornby train sets. But then you wouldn't put it with it because the scale's all different.
Yeah, it's so cool, man. I love it.
I do. I mean, it's all freestanding as well. Many a time I'll knock it over and stuff like that, and it all go flying. I've tried to put my spare players over there in the stadium, and they've all just fallen over. But you could buy everything, and you can nowadays. Because Subbuteo don't make it all nowadays. There's like a cottage industry around it, so people with 3D printers are now making floodlights and making dugouts and stuff like that because you just can't buy them from Subbuteo. The only thing Subbuteo make nowadays is VAR, which is the most random thing in the world. But over time, you could get everything from TV and everything's a bit dated. They've got a TV towel which you wouldn't see at £1,000 now unless it was sort of FA Cup third round and it was the minnows playing like Man United or something. You get bits like that. You get fences like this they made. Hang on, like proper 80s sort of. I call it the hooligan fence. You know what I mean? It probably dates as Subbuteo. You could get it. Oh, even the goals. You look at the goals. They've got the old goals with the stanchions at the back as opposed to having the string out. Yeah, man, you could get it all.
It's amazing, honestly, mate. It's amazing how much
cool.
Collectibles. Were you always someone who was a fan of collecting when you were growing up, or was it always just Subbuteo?
I think I'm a hoarder. I've always been a hoarder. So when I was really, really young, I used to collect key rings because you do weird things like that when you're a kid, don't you? And then as I got older, I wouldn't say I collected stuff, but I'd get obsessed with things. So if I had vinyl, I'd have to buy everything from the same artist so I had it. Or the TV program Lost, I've become obsessed with that, so I had to buy the books and the paraphernalia and stuff that went with that. So I've always been obsessive. I mean, there was a good period of my life of maybe 20, 25 years where I didn't sort of even think about Subbuteo. It'd just be something that come up in a conversation. It's only really in the last 7 years I threw myself into building the stadium, and then it got a bit out of control.
Yeah, definitely.
Now I've got to have every kit. I mean, I'm so far off from having everything, but because they do all these kits and you can buy all these different teams, I keep looking around. Sorry if I'm not looking at you. As I say it, I'm looking around. I still sit here amazed. I'm like, oh, there's the Arsenal Bridge banana. It's almost like people who collect football kits. You know what I mean? Football shirts.
Oh, mate, don't worry. It's all good. I'm not going.
You could get them in Subbuteo now.
Yeah.
I mean, even the modern side, they don't make the new kits, but there's painters out there that will paint the teams up, and they look absolutely spot on to the new kits. Like, have you seen the new Inter Milan kit?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a travesty. It looks horrible. I mean, but someone actually put a thing on saying it looks like a cycling jersey.
Yeah.
which is actually what it looks like. But someone, Westwood Table Soccer, Callum from the show, from the Subbuteo show, he's painted one figure up on that, and it looks amazing. So you can have that kit in Subbuteo, and you can model it however you want. You can display it on the wall, display it on the thing. It's perfect.
So many possibilities.
So many. It's never ending. Never ends.
Definitely. So you mentioned obviously there's another for the Subbuteo show there. What's the community like in Subbuteo? And in terms of sort of the demographic, are we talking sort of your age and above?
mostly, to be honest, mostly above. If I'm honest, I'm 37, and I'm kind of one of the younger ones.
You don't look it, mate.
Weird.
You don't look it.
Oh, mate, I'll take that. I'll take that. But we all know I look a lot older. It's starting to recede. Look, it's all starting to go back. The hair's getting out of control. But I'm actually one of the younger people in it. I talk to a lot of the community is good. I mean, there's Facebook groups. There's a forum that we're trying to push everything back to. I've just started up Discord because I noted there was no Subbuteo on Discord, so people are starting to flock to that. But generally, everyone's probably 40 plus. There's a few people my age, there's a few people lower. There is this one girl who, I don't know how old she is, she plays for one of the clubs. She's like ranks #1 in the world professionally. So that's quite good. But generally the people that collect are a bit older because Subbuteo at its height, 70s, 80s, I suppose. I started winding off towards the 80s. I mean, I was 7 in 1990. So I caught the tail end of it as it sort of went down. But yeah, a lot of people, I mean, the teams I've got over there, like these, like, oh, I get one like the old Coventry kit like that. People that love and respect that are the people that are nowadays sort of 50, 60. But that's what they remember. And they're like, oh, the old heavyweight range is best because they're a slightly different figure. Whereas I love the 90s figures like the Germany 90 and I've got the Arsenal Bruised Banana from the early 90s. Even being an Arsenal fan, that Tottenham away kit there from 92 is just, it just looks pucker. And you can, any era really can get into it. But generally, everyone's that little bit older. People don't like the newer stuff, which is more 80s, 90s. They see it more as, oh no, that's not proper Subbuteo. Proper Subbuteo is 70s and 80s. But yeah, I'm definitely one of the younger ones, which is quite nice actually.
Yeah.
I'm a whippersnapper. I'm an old whippersnapper.
Definitely. In terms of like content creation, so you've done 100 episodes now of your thing. Well, in terms of what you had as a vision for that, how has it changed? How has it swayed away, or how has it stayed on course?
To be honest, yeah, not a lot's changed because I mean, I always sort of said I want to do unboxings on it. I always thought I'd do unboxings on the channel. That'll be the main thing. As I buy something, I'll unbox it, and I've never really gone too far away from it. When I first started it, I wanted to do tours and stuff like that. So I thought I'll do tours of what my collection already. So since then, I've done a couple more of them. Last year, when the pandemic hit and no one probably had as much money coming in, I deviated a little bit and I did a few different episodes, like counting down the most valuable items, looking at old Subbuteo adverts, showing off my loft build in the stadium. But generally, I've always pretty much stayed on to what I always said. I mean, I think originally I put the tagline as moans, groans, and vlogs about Subbuteo, pure nostalgic joy, and I've always kind of stayed with that. And there's been a lot of moans along the way. There's been a lot of joy along the way. Just it's collecting, isn't it? People like to watch people and like to reminisce over different things. And if I can stay doing that, which I think I have, then win a chicken dinner.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. It's doing really, really well. And
I love it.
The stuff that comes out. I mean, I've only obviously started watching the kind of stuff that you've been putting out for the last couple of weeks. But I'm just like, it's engaging, it's hooking from that perspective.
Don't watch my old videos; they're so cringe.
Everyone does that. Everyone.
I look back and watch them like I was like, oh no, what was I doing? What was I saying?
That's amazing.
Bad a lot. I was uptight and it's so weird.
Yeah, man. And well, I think a lot of like people on YouTube say that. I definitely say that myself because. But do you think it sort of helped change your character, maybe on camera, maybe off camera as well?
Probably, yeah, because yeah, you're probably right there. Because I was thinking about this the other day. Because on the Subbuteo show, on the podcast, we've kind of all ended up with a character on there. You've got Callum, who's like the moody one. You've got Stephen, who's the positive, normal one. You've got Watts, who's kind of brash and out there, and then you've got me, who just shouts a lot. And I do kind of, and I find myself doing this sometimes. I like to be, because people are a little bit older in the Subbuteo community, I like to always be that guy on YouTube who's the Subbuteo collector that they love to hate in a way.
Yeah.
Even though people don't. People are really good, but I like to be that wind-up merchant a little bit, and I'm not afraid to spout things out and say certain things if something winds me up. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
like to have opinions, and yeah, I think over time I was just nice and normal. But as time's gone on, I've developed this, and I suppose it is kind of a character because it's always tongue in cheek. I've developed this character who's a little bit brash, a little bit out there, a little bit don't care, a little bit. What did someone say to me? Anarchic. So
Yeah.
I was very anarchic with what I do because I don't care if I collect something and it's battered and bruised and not brand new sealed in box, which a lot of collectors do. I like to just have it out there, and I don't care if I've got it. I can preserve the history of it. So anarchic is definitely the word. I've definitely turned into this anarchic Subbuteo collector, which I like, and I do like because I like to put people in their place sometimes.
Who doesn't, mate? Who doesn't, to be fair?
That's it.
So in terms of your actual collection, I'm
Yeah.
going to ask you to name your top 3 pieces of memorabilia
Tough.
and
Because
why.
I did this the other day, right, on my 100th episode on the Q&A, and I said on that, ask me again later, and it'll probably change. So this will probably be different. So what do you want? My top 3 bits?
Your top 3 bits of memorabilia and why.
Okay, right. So we'll go with my farm team. So I've actually got it on my top. So I don't know if you know the band The Farm.
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
done all together now. So they were the only band that had their own custom Subbuteo team made. It's quite a rare lightweight side. So having that up there, absolutely love that. Perfect. It's brilliant to have it. I love it, and especially since I've spoken to the band about it as well and been able to talk to them. For me, being a bit of a fanboy, that's like really. Also, I've been able to speak to Keith Mullen and that about how they went through the process of creating it. So that's really cool to have. Oh, what else? Number 2. This is in no order either,
Yeah.
by the way. Definitely the Arsenal Bruised Banana kit because it's just pucker, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a proper cool kit, and to have that in Subbuteo is really cool. And then, number 3, that's tough because I named all these the other day and I don't know what one to choose best, so I might choose something else. What box sets we got? Oh, it's tough. Number 3. Let's go with. I'll tell you what. Let's go with this because I don't think I mentioned this in my other show. I really like this because I picked it up for a really good price. It's not the original Subbuteo set, but it's one of the old original like 50s sets.
Yeah.
So, and the fact that in it you don't get a pitch, all you get is the players and the balls. And what you used to get was a bit of chalk, so you could draw your own pitch on an old army blanket. I'll never forget when I opened this, it still had the original chalk in it. And I was like, wow, that's cool. And because it's in such good condition, that's how far Subbuteos come. That's what the players used to look like.
Blimey.
In cardboard and celluloid players. But that I do really appreciate that because it's in such great condition and it shows its age as well in the box.
Yeah. I think that is so nice. Like it's like a piece of history, isn't it?
Exactly that. It's got the name. It's not Subbuteo as a company. It's got the name of Peter Adolph on it, who created the firm. So it's got his name on it. It's even got that sort of old musty smell. That's cool. I like that.
That's amazing.
That's a nice one.
Well, if you want to know Stuart's previous choices, go and check out his video on that.
You could ask me again. You could ask me again next week, right? And I'd say something completely different.
Yeah.
One minute I'll say the League Cup trophy because it's so hard to get in Subbuteo, and the next minute I'll say it's the worst trophy ever because it falls apart. Genuinely, so hard for me to put things in order. Like away from Subbuteo, up there I've got a signed boot from Paolo Maldini, and like that's awesome. That's really cool. And then, I could go on forever. I could change my mind in 5 minutes. Depends on what sort of mood I'm in.
One thing I've always been wondering about it is, do you ever, as a community, think you could potentially make sort of custom Subbuteo like models? And has that ever been explored, or will it be?
When you say custom models, do you mean like the players?
Yeah, or kits or whatever, all of that.
Yeah, people do. So there is so much out there. There's so many companies that produce what are called U-Paint players. So it's the way you go do a blank team that you can buy and paint yourself. Santiago do it as well. There's a site called Little Plastic Men or LPM who do all different sorts of players. They'll do like players from the 1920s. You'll then get modern players with long hair. There's a guy in Canada at the moment who does 3D printing of teams, and you can buy them and paint them up yourself. And some of the work people do on these are amazing. They'll do custom teams. They'll do teams for people that play Football Manager and just make them in Subbuteo. But then aside from that, and just the teams, there's people that make the products now. Like I say, I'm dealing with this guy at the moment, Mini Soccer Builds, who 3D print stadium accessories. Because a stadium I'm building in the loft, I can't get a tunnel for it. The tunnels you get always go into a stadium, but all mine seats all around. So I need it to be edged up so it looks like it's solid on. But he's 3D printing that for me. And he's going to send that over to me so I can get it in there and actually sort of complete that. So there's 3D printers out there doing loads of stuff. People do make custom little Subbuteo figures. I tell you what people even do, because a few years ago they released a light, like just it must be about, I don't know, 10 inches tall, Subbuteo light. You press it, it changes colour. But because it was all white, people have taken them models and painted their favourite kits on them as well. So you get an even large Subbuteo figure. So yeah, the possibilities are endless. Because of 3D printing nowadays, it's opened it up for anyone to do whatever they want.
Do you think that maybe the 3D printing element of it could find a new audience for the game?
I like to think so, especially nowadays, because the way I see it with people like we said earlier, people like football kits, right? And this football kits are so collectible. Panini stickers are so collectible. This is the type of product that can be like that. You can get your football kits and you can get your little sort of collectible stuff all in one. So people could do mystery boxes and loot boxes and stuff like that. Or people could do in Italy that every now and again they'll do a magazine where you get a free team with it. People could do that over here. And I just think if someone gets the 3D capabilities right, gets it into the right young person's hands, then yes, definitely that it can go on forever. The right 3D printer, it doesn't even have to be a 3D printer. Someone could do it with injection molding. You just need the right person to get hold of it and the right person to sell it. Because, I mean, look at some of the kits nowadays. They're fantastic. I mean, I keep looking up there at Nigeria 2018. What a kit that was. And the fact that I was able to get that from in Subbuteo form, you can't go wrong. Even with lower league teams, it'd be a great place to start. If you can get like non-league sides or conference teams, League One, League Two, build them up, get the official licenses, make it collectible, and there's no reason why people wouldn't do it. The iconographies of it there. I mean, people will always, if you was to put a silhouette of a Subbuteo figure out on something and say, what sport is that? People will naturally say football, no matter how old you are. You might not know the game, but to look at that, if you show that to someone, people will go, oh, that's football. They know straight away. They might not know the game, but they know the shape of the base and the figure and all that as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's the fact that it is based in football will definitely, preserve it, because everyone knows
that.
The
only thing that won't preserve it will be the company that own it at the moment and own the license, because they don't know what they're doing.
Well, there we go.
Sadly, which is a real problem.
Hopefully, everything will go from that. But thank you so much, Stuart, for joining us.
No worries, man. Thanks for having me.
It's been amazing. I'm gonna ask one more question. Where can everyone go and find you on social medias and Twitter and Facebook, all that kind of stuff?
So if you want to find me on YouTube, just search Subbuteo Collector and I will come up straight away. On Twitter, you can find me as Subbuteo Collect, because it doesn't give you enough characters to write collector. So Subbuteo Collect on there, and then TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, just search Subbuteo Collector. Or if you want it all in one place, www.subbuteocollector.com, and everything's on there.
Go get it, guys. Thank you so much.
Go get it.
Make sure you subscribe to both Stuart's channel and to us. We need to get 1.3K very, very soon. So go get it. Go get it. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
No worries at all, bud.
And we will see you lot in the next video. Ta-da.